Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we're finding and learning and turning the great strategy games. Today, back into Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific, Admiral's Edition. And we are going to go over another combat resolution this time. Now, I plan to sprinkle in episodes, obviously, where I go over what we're setting up, what we're doing strategically. But here early on, I think I've kind of covered what we're trying to do. Now, I've shifted my tactics, as I said, with it when it comes to cargo. We're trying to get them all into big task forces now with a lot of destroyer escort. Unfortunately, this turn we are going to lose a couple of AOs, but the number of losses has gone way, way, way down. As I've now, kind of shifted tactics a little bit, and we get more AOs. We've got plenty of them. Eventually, early in the game, you take quite a hit when you lose them because you don't have that many right at the start, and they are worth quite a few points. So anyway, what can I say? We lost a couple this turn, but let's watch the action. Now, this is Christmas Day, 1941. The troops have sent their letters home. They've gotten their care packages, and they're ready to go. So let's see what happened with this combat resolution. And off we go. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of bombing in China. Now, I've almost got all of our Chinese troops where I want them at this point. It's a little cat and mouse game out in China, and I think one of the upcoming episodes here, I'll delve into that more. Now, I don't want to give away the whole strategy, but I do want to show you guys what we're up to. And also, it'll help as, the turns between Lodric and I are going back and forth about every day now. And so that'll help when we get a little further ahead in the game. Right now, I'm basically posting these pretty much a day after I get them. And so, as we get further and further away, I'll reveal more and more what's happening on the board as far as our own tactics. Now, we'll see in our strategy, I guess, strategy and tactics. Big picture, small picture. But I mean, you're getting to see all the map with the combat resolutions here. And again, Logic's done a great job with two things, and that is to get all over our shipping early on. He's done that, and you see down here by this is the first one I was talking about. The AO Platte is trying to come into Pago Pago down here in the South Pacific. We're trying to get an AO in there to get it fueled. Now, usually I would not do this. You don't really need a big old AO coming into Pago Pago. I mean, that's like 14,000 tons of fuel. That's enough to fuel Pago for half the war. And so, in retrospect, wouldn't have sent this out there. Again, it's something I do against the AI, against a good human player like this. He's got submarines down here at Pago Pago already. And you can see here, nothing happened. He launched two torpedoes. Well, I say nothing happened. He launched two torpedoes, but no hit there. Again, spoiler, he does hit it later. So we'll get to that as we go along here. You can see the destroyer, the Suga, is out here and it's banging away. I believe this is what, San Fernando. We still hold this. It's all isolated up here. He will eventually take it, but he's going to bombard it first, which is always good practice. So he bangs away at the 11th Filipino Army Infantry Division. There's nothing you can do with those guys really. When he lands on turn two, you can't really get them out of there. You can't get them back to Clark Field. You can't get them to Manila. So I just, decided to let them sit there and tie him up, hopefully for a week or 2 weeks as he tries to take that base because it's a pretty strong force, but eventually you're going to lose the entire Philippines, of course, and a lot of that is locked in. It's restricted to the Philippines, so you couldn't get it out even if you had a good way to do it, and we really didn't. This is our Dutch sub out here. Now it is being attacked. This is an anti-sub attack by one of the Japanese PBs, and he actually did get hit. 2 hits, heavy damage. So now we've had a Dutch sub get hit off the coast of Kuantan off the Malaysian peninsula here. And you can see we're merging, merging, merging. I had to do a lot of work to get these task forces all put together into bigger task forces to make sure they had support. And now he's going to launch torpedoes on the Platte yet again. And you can see that one's a hit. Heavy fires on the Platte. Two torpedo hits, two heavy fires. Dang. All right. His main task force, the Kido Butai, is making a parade down the Australian coast. Um, I've gotten a lot of that stuff out of there, and so hopefully that's not going to cause a huge problem. We'll see. These are a lot of the sightings. All right, he's starting his bombing campaign as always. This is into Chengchao, I believe, and he's running a sweep with the zeros. And I've got two I-16s up out of Loyang. There's not a whole lot those I-16s are going to be able to do against zeros, but they hold their own there on a sweep. Now he's coming in and sweeping over Changsha. Running a lot of sweeps nowadays. I like it, Lodric. I like it. That's a good way to play as the Japanese. Sweep those areas first before you send the bombers in. We did have one 75M Hawk destroyed. Again, those planes are not going to last long against Japanese zeros, but I'm just putting them up because you're going to lose them eventually. We may as well lose them now when his bombing campaign is probably at its height. 1-0 came in on a sweep there. Now he's got 20 Nels coming in our group again that's still trying to get down the Malayan Peninsula. They're not going to be able to do it, but at least hopefully that'll tie up some of his forces as they just keep retreating down this way. 20 Nels came in, 8 casualties. All right, and this now so we bombarded the port here at San Fernando, and now he's bombing down here. We actually damaged 4 planes, so that's good. But we took 100 casualties in that bombing campaign or bombing sortie. All right, 25 Betty's in on San Fernando. Now we take another 100 casualties. Wow, good bombing by the Japanese there. This is that group that got kicked out of Allure Star. They are getting bombed over and over again. I don't even think they have any assault value left. Now he's hitting this base force that's coming out of Victoria Point. Again, this is one of those lost forces that you're just never going to be able to do anything about. We actually damaged a plane or two there. Now he's bombing here in China, and I can tell you, I've been going back and forth what to do with the Chinese forces right in this area in the southeastern part of the country. I'm trying to get them out, or I normally always do, but he has done a great job of blocking these roads, and so they don't have anywhere to go. They have quite a bit of assault value out here, and so I'm trying to get them all into the same hex. And when I do, then I think I can make, a heroic last stand. Now they will eventually, get surrounded and get taken out probably if we can't, march them down a road and get behind the river. But I'm trying to get them all in the same hex. You can see really effective bombing there outside of Chengteng. He 36 Ans, 25 Sallies, 122 casualties. All right, once again, bombing this southeastern China area with 20 lilies. Part of the problem of us getting these guys all together is this is providing massive interdiction. We can't get started because he just keeps bombing them over and over and over again, so they can't move. All right, Sally's coming in here. Again, another group. Now, this group is actually to the west of the Japanese forces and should be able to get out. But again, he's interdicting it over and over. So 2 Sallies damaged there. We took 7 casualties. 29 Anns in on this run. We took 69 casualties. We're damaging more planes now, it seems, or more getting damaged. But he is just chipping away. 9 casualties there. No plane damage. This is outside Xinyang. This is another very interesting area right now. He's moved a Japanese force up this way to block our supply paths into Chengchao and Loyang. It's a wise move. I think we can counter it, and I'm trying to by bringing forces down the road here and down from I Chang and trying to isolate these units because it's a game of you surrounded me. No, I surrounded you. You surrounded me. He's trying to get around. It's very hard to take Cheng Chao and Loyang just with a straight assault because they both have about 1,700 in combat value each. And so it's hard to just take them with the direct assault. So it's always smarter to go around them usually and try to cut them off. But we have huge forces at Nanyang and Aicheng that we can then move to try to counter that. We'll see. 9 casualties reported there. Bombing into Kukong. Now I'm bringing a lot of forces into Kukong. This is our weakest base in kind of this line of bases here, and so I'm bringing a lot of things by rail down and around to Kukong to try to shove him back. He doesn't have a very strong force there, but we don't really have much of a force at all, and he's bombing in there continuously. 16 casualties there. These guys are all fleeing back to Yan'an, where we'll set up a big base. It'll be very hard for him to come get Yan'an. You've got to come across the river to do it. Very difficult. But I'm trying to get all these guys back, but they're taking casualties. One Sally damage, 127 Chinese casualties there. He's bombing them yet again. 20 Anns in, 36 casualties there. These guys out here, I'm trying to get them together. We have, I think the command is in this counter group, trying to get up this road and link up with these guys. But again, they've just been bombed and bombed and bombed. 80 casualties there. Now he's going to hit these guys again. Again, these are all headed back to Yan'an if they can get there. It's not easy terrain. You can see it's mountainous out here. It takes a long time to march even one more hex. All right, we got bombing just outside of Changsha. This unit's actually coming down the road. I'm not having that go directly back to Changsha. All right, 18 casualties there. 9 lilies in on this group. 34 casualties there. Now he's hitting this other group that's out here by Pao Tao. 58 casualties there. It's just, a little bit by little bit. Now we're bombing his task force that's out here. Trying to get some naval bombing. Now, these, medium level bombers are not really good at this task. If we go look at their pilots, they're not really trained for it. But what else are you going to do? I mean, they're not going to be around for ground support, really. By the time the Japanese land down here in the Dutch East Indies, having, 5 medium level bombers for ground support is not going to make a damn bit of difference. So I'm trying to get a lucky hit in here. We have hit I think a small, like a light cruiser once in all of this. And you can see, I mean, we're losing some planes here and there. We got a cruiser and a light cruiser out here, the Kumano and the Jinsu. We got one destroyed by flak. Again, you're just looking for a miracle. There's maybe a 1% chance this works. Well, we're going to do it 100 times, so maybe we'll get one to work. One damaged plane there. We're not losing too many of them, which is actually quite surprising because they've got quite a bit of anti. Okay, there we go. The Keto Butai in on Brisbane. Now I have moved everything for the most part out of Brisbane. We still had a local minesweeper here. Poor little local minesweeper. I'm sorry, guys. Imagine being on this ship. Like, well, we're all out of Brisbane. You hang out, you look for mines, and if a big Japanese carrier task force happens to come by, duck. I mean, my goodness. All right, spotting over Singapore, over Palembang, all the places you would expect. Changsha. All right, we're going to try to bomb his task force out here again with more medium level bombers. We had one destroyed by flak, no hits there. We dropped one 300 kilogram bomb to no avail. All right, lots of bombing as usual there. The Platte sinks. Okay, so down goes the Platte. We lose an AO. That's one I'd like to have back, but such things happen in war. In retrospect, I thought we would get out there soon enough or quickly enough that he wouldn't have submarines down there yet. But now as I said, I've completely reformed the tactics. But that one was already well on its way and was nowhere near any kind of escort, and we lose it. All right, we got more bombing coming in here just south of Sinkoang. You've got this base force, or all of the forces that were kicked out of this northwestern area of Borneo. They're trying to get down here to Pontianak to just get to a base, and they're constantly being bombed. That's 8 casualties. We have the same situation here. We had our base force in Jesselton. It's trying to get over here to one of the two British bases we have left, and they're just getting, ripped up by bombing. All right, we're going to try to hit this task force yet again with demons and the old 139s. Looks like we had one get through and nothing happened. We dropped one bomb. Well, that ain't going to do it, guys. Let's get some more bombs on, dropped. We're going after his light cruiser again. We had one plane damage, no damage for the Japanese there. We're going to go after him again. We had one plane destroyed by flak. Nothing happens to the Japanese ships. We're just not haven't had the lucky shot yet. Okay, he's coming back in on Brisbane. He's gonna try to hit our little local minesweeper. Oh boy, doesn't look good for the Tongkol. Nope, Tongkol just disappeared, just gone. Okay, local minesweepers. Those are 1 point ships. We've got a lot of them. You hate to lose anything, but if you're going to lose something, lose a local minesweeper. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how far down the Australian coast he decides to come with his carrier groups there. At some point, logistics come into play. They're going to they've got they've got huge fuel capacity, but at some point, I mean, that is a long journey. They have to be coming out of the home islands because they came down there immediately after Pearl Harbor. So we'll see. ASW attacks. So he found us. This is a Dutch sub here off the southern coast of the southeastern Asia here. Nothing happened. We escaped detection. It was sighted, but we escaped detection. Our Dutch subs have not done as much damage as they often will do against the AI. Here's his bombarding again. I like to say that the Suga, Tsuga. Sure, I'm going to call it the Suga. Um, Bombarding away at San Fernando. 62 Allied casualties from the bombardment. Relatively quiet turn out in the Pacific, really. I mean, we lost a local minesweeper, we lost that AO. We've had a few sub encounters, but nothing really to report. Ground combat, okay, he's going to take Chusen. Of course, we left Chusen, so that was easy enough for him to do. Yeah, I mean, we had nothing left there, so no casualties, but he takes the base. As now you can see the situation out here. Um, we're trying to get this way, or I'm trying to have them link up, let's say here, but he's making it very difficult. He's got this big force out here. He's also got a couple little screening forces here that we can't see. Um, Now we're retreating. Okay, this was near Pakoi. Oh, it's right here. I see. So I had originally started trying to march this unit back to Nanning. That's usually what I'll do and get off the coast. He was blocking that, and I said, well, I mean, a big part of this is just keeping him kind of in a stalemate, right? So I said, okay, fine, I'll go back to Pakoi. We did, and now, I mean, we were trying to get back there, but he's now attacked us as this unit's, trailing. We're back into the base here. You can see we've actually got some ships here. They're little PT boats. They're not going to do a whole lot. So, uh, Japanese took 263 casualties. We took 1626. Ouch. Okay, here's an attack out in Malaysia. It's that group out of Allure Star that got kicked out of Allure Star. They are going to surrender, I believe. I believe they did. So the Japanese lost 223. We lost 776 or 766. Well, they didn't surrender there, but they will eventually. You can see his bombing and bombardment campaign took our 11th Filipino Infantry Division to a zero combat effectiveness. And that's the beauty of bombing. Now we're going to try to retreat, and we did up here to Vigan, but it's only a matter of time before he turns up there. I mean, we don't have any combat values. So he took 21 casualties, we took 630. Now he's attacking across the peninsula here. And as you can see, he had already taken Tavoy. He's now taking, oh, I always forget what the name of this, Merguai. He's going to take that. And now, he's getting ready for his approach up through Mulmine, Pagoo, and Rangoon. He's moved a little slower out in the Rangoon area than I would be used to or you see generally. Um, he's been very aggressive in other places. I guess it's just, I mean, that's just how he wants to do it. Usually you're under a lot of pressure at Rangoon by this point in time, but we've had a chance to get a lot of forces in there. It's going to be a real Donnybrook of a scrap when he gets there. Because we've got it set up just the way I like to set it up. We've got things now consolidated into a division, the first Burma division. Okay, this is our sub, obviously, a Dutch sub here off of the coast again of Malaysia. This was an ASW attack, so he found us. He sighted us anyway, but he couldn't find us, and so nothing happened. He didn't drop any depth charges. We didn't fire any torpedoes, and that's that. I can tell you, I've taken a lot of those Dutch subs and redeployed them at this point because we're just not getting a lot of joy to the north of Borneo or to the east of Malaysia. So I've moved those around a little bit. And we'll talk about that when we go over the map, which I'll do after this episode. So when I'm setting up this next turn, I'm going to make an episode of that as well. All right, it's now December 26th, so that was Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, everyone. Now it's Boxing Day for all you Brits, and but the war continues. Don't relax. We're still out here fighting in the Pacific. Uh, yeah. So this is a Japanese sub. The is that no. I'm sorry. I was like that doesn't look very Japanese. The cachalot. That is our sub actually. We're coming back to Pearl Harbor, and we just happened to come across this ship out here. Or a couple of ships. He's got a PB, the Keijo Maru, and he's got the Amakaso Maru, which is a cargo ship. Looks like just one of his little one-point cargo ships. The cachalot said, "Hey, okay, let's launch a couple of torpedoes." They were Mark 14s. They didn't hit anything. Shocker. This is the second AO that we lose this turn. Just a disaster that I lost these two AO. Well, it's not. That's overstating it. It makes me angry. The AO Kaskaskia goes down here to a Japanese sub, the I-18. Um, just didn't have the escort on it, and you've got to do that against a very aggressive Japanese player, and we didn't have it, so the Kaskaskia goes down. We lose two AOs this turn. That's enough to PView, believe me. Now, it's not going to change anything in the grand arc of this game, but it's just annoying. Okay, now we've got some ASW work going on ourselves. We found a Japanese sub out here, ASW Attack. He's right in our main line that comes in from Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco. He's obviously an experienced player. This is just where the computer sets for you to come down when you type it or when you press Pearl Harbor out of there. And so he's right in that lane and we've got a lot of destroyers out here. So hopefully we'll eventually hit something. He launched two torpedoes at us. Uh, the Balch then attacked him, but then we lost contact with him. We don't know where he is, evidently. All right, we're snooping some Japanese aircraft. All right, the Nell's coming in hot and heavy here on this group that's just trying to run down the peninsula here, but they just are, it's just a hopeless case. The Nels hit us, but no, they didn't hit us actually. Nothing happened there. All right, now they're going to bomb Vigan. We damaged a couple of his planes. We took 81 casualties. That is a force that has no fighting ability left. Now he's bombing the group out of Allure Star. 7 casualties reported there. I do believe that they surrender at the end of this turn. 9 Nels in, 12 casualties reported here. Southeastern China again. All right. Well, hey, look at this. We got an I-16 up in the air against some Sonyas and some Marys. Now they have a little air combat ability, but they're bombers. And yeah, we damaged 4 Sonyas there. Okay, hey, way to go, one I-16. Well done, Mr. Chinese pilot. Now he's bombing again, the same area over and over and over. But nothing, nothing. That's good. Those guys need a respite. Okay, 9 Sallies in, 2 of them got damaged, and he gets nothing from that. So his bombing campaign in China not yielding the fruit that it often has in the past, at least not on December 26th. Uh, 29 Ands in, we took 19 casualties there. 8 Ands in here, we take 16 casualties. He's bombing this group that's oh no, he didn't bomb there. He's bombing Kukong again, which seems to be where he wants to push his offensive. 11 casualties reported. I always love when you get a sighting of a torpedo bomber over Aichang. That seems unlikely to me, guys. 13 Idas in here, 4 casualties. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Lodric has some kind of secret sauce where he's got torpedo bombers hitting us, but I don't think that's true. All right, bombing us out of Chengtang. 1 damaged Sally. We took 59 casualties. Now on to the area in and around Pao Tao. We took 7 casualties there. All right, 25 Lilies bombing there, 4 casualties reported. Again, in China, for whatever reason, I don't know. I didn't look at the weather, and that may have something to do with it. But he hasn't had nearly the number of casualties as he has in other turns. 9 Lilies in here, 26 casualties reported. Okay, here comes the Keto Butai. You see him out here near Lord Howe Island. So he's gone kind of directly south. We do have some little ships out here. I mean, I couldn't get them all out. I tried. The Townsville's getting hit by some Vals, as was the patrol gunboat, the Moresby. Bomb hits 3 and sunk. Townsville bomb hits 2 and sunk. I think those are both 2-point ships. So, nothing major got hit there. what are you going to do? I mean, you got a full Japanese carrier force with 6 carriers. We've got just nothing to defend against that. And you wouldn't. I mean, it's not a matter of anything we've done in the game. It's just, if he's going to bring them down the eastern coast of Australia, you're going to lose some stuff. We actually haven't lost that much, to be honest. We do get a little cap up out here over Cheng Chao on a sweep. He's doing a sweep, and our one little I-16 got destroyed. Dang it! That guy deserved a medal. I hope they send it to his family. Zero's coming in here on a sweep. Nothing happening there. We didn't even get cap up. He's bombing the group, trying to get to Pontianak. 4 casualties reported there. Bombing this group out here that is trying to get somewhere. Now he's also taken this base now. The last one we have left is Brunei. These guys are going to have to surrender. They took 10 casualties there. Bombing outside of Sinyang. 6 ands, 10 zeros on the escort, 11 casualties. Now we're sighting some things over Palembang, over Kuala Lumpur, outside of Changsha. He's going to bomb that group out there. We take 10 casualties. 20 IDAs in here on this group trying to move. It doesn't hit us. It was overcast. I looked at the weather that time and it just said overcast, so maybe that threw off his bombing run. Bombing this group up by Pao Tao, yet again, 4 casualties. Bombing this group again, Nate's and Sonia's in on that. 4 casualties. Now he kind of lets us know he's got one of his carriers out here somewhere. Is that right? No, gosh darn it! I hate when I do that. These are our planes, obviously. The Blenheim 4, 6 of them in on the light cruiser Nagara. The Nagara is just sitting over here at Macassar trying to blow something up. We tried to attack it. Again, nothing happened. When you're trying to do these naval attacks with medium level bombers and pilots that aren't trained for it, you've got a really low chance of success. But there's not a whole hell of a lot you can do with those planes otherwise. Otherwise, they're just going to get, they're going to get surrendered. So you may as well run them out there again and try to get a lucky hit if you can. Um, all right, looks like that was the main bit of it on December 26th. We still got land combat if there was any. We'll see. I don't remember. This is going to be a surprise to me. In 12-hour pulse, divide cripple task forces. That may be it. That may be it. So that was oh no, I was wrong. Land move attack phases after that. Okay, this is that group at Allure Star. I thought that they surrendered. Yeah, there we go. 15th Indian Brigade surrenders. So, they put up the good fight, but once they got kicked out of their base, it was just going to be over. The Japanese took 142 casualties. We had 1,300 guys by the end that were left. The brave 1,300, but they're done. And now I think that is it. So I was right. They did surrender out there. Hey, Portland's got higher fortifications. How exciting! We've got a lot of these. I will tell you, in certain spots where we have supply problems, I have turned the fortifications off. Building fortifications takes a lot of supply, so if you're having supply problems, you may want to turn that off. And that's going to do it for December 26th. I'm now going to make a video of our setup for the next turn and really get into kind of what we're doing in certain places in the map, on the map. Anyway, this has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good one.